So you want to know how to travel the world on a budget without spending a fortune? Let me tell you, it's possible, and I'm about to give you 30 tips on how to do it so that you don't break the bank and come back completely broke or in debt. Welcome to today's video on money and how to travel cheap. Don't forget to subscribe as you're watching. I'll love you forever. One of the most expensive things that you end up spending so much money on when traveling is accommodation. So that makes my first tip a very easy choice for a lot of travelers, and that is to stay in hostels. I know, not ideal for everyone, but if you want to save money, stay in large dorm rooms. Those are always the cheapest. Get some earplugs, use headphones, you'll be able to sleep. If you really can't sleep or value your privacy, there are also private rooms available in a lot of hostels. You still get the social aspect, you still save, voila. On the topic of accommodation, you could actually stay somewhere for free through Couchsurfing. And Couchsurfing doesn't mean you actually sleep on someone's couch. You could, but they could have a spare room that they're just lending you for free. Another option and cheap way for accommodation is to house sit. There are platforms all over the web for booking house sitting opportunities. Who knows, you can even get to hang out with a cute dog or take care of some chickens. Another thing you spend a lot of money on is food. Eating out really adds up. So when you're abroad, cook your own meals. If you're staying in a hostel, like I just told you to, then cooking your own meals is usually possible, as a lot of hostels have kitchens. Not all of them, so make sure you take a peek before you book. If you hate cooking like I do, just make sure you eat local. If you're going abroad and are buying beers or Western food that you would find at home, it's gonna cost you a lot more in Europe or Southeast Asia or even Australia. Tap into the sharing economy. Again, for accommodation, if you like your privacy, hotel rooms are too expensive, and staying in a hostel is really not an option for you, or on someone's couch, then use something like Airbnb. Another option for the sharing economy is to use things like BlaBlaCar. People will post where they're going from where, and if you're going in the same direction, you hop in. More on transportation, you could also hitchhike, though I've personally never done this. It is possible, and there are lots of solo female travelers who do it. I highly recommend doing a little bit of research before you decide to do it to see if other people have done it, how safe it is in the country, but for the most part, you're good. Another way to save on accommodation is to travel overnight. You're gonna have to sleep on a bus or a plane, but you're getting your travel in and somewhere to sleep for the price of one. If you really want to save cash, choose to travel in the off season. Not only are you gonna save on accommodation, but also flights, transportation. Keep in mind, not all destinations have an off season. Make sure things are open before you start booking anything. Well, there won't be anything to book. Travel to destinations that are cheap. Don't be booking flights over to Bora Bora if you can't afford it. Try Thailand. There are islands everywhere around the world. Guaranteed there is always a cheaper option that has everything you're looking for, whether that be beaches, mountains, hiking, whatever your travel style is. Think about getting off of the beaten path. Places where majority of the tourists go are going to be the most expensive, and you're gonna get stuck in tourist traps. Going somewhere that's just a little bit off the beaten path could mean savings, and if you really get off the beaten path, you could be saving a ton. One of the most important travel tips of all time is to do your research before booking. Don't just go crazy and book things. Like I mentioned in the off-season travel tip, things could be closed. You don't know everything about travel. I've made mistakes without doing research before. I don't want you to do the same thing. One of my favorite travel tips, not just because it helps save you money, but also because it's good for your health, is to walk everywhere. I understand not everywhere is walkable, but so many places are. Not only are you going to be saving money on public transit, which is sometimes cheap, sometimes not so cheap, but you're going to be getting so many steps in and you're going to feel great. I actually lose weight when I travel because I walk so much. And speaking of walking, do free walking tours. These are available all over Europe in almost every major city. You get to go and see all these cool sites, have this awesome person tell you all this really cool info, and all you have to do in the end is tip them based on how well you think they did. The guides are always awesome. I guarantee you're gonna have a good time. I've only ever been on one bad one, and I've been on a lot. On the topic of free, why don't you visit museums or other city attractions while they're free? There are usually time periods where people can enter and take a peek at all the cool things to see completely free. You gotta do a little bit of research into this. They're not always super advertised, but yeah, if you're saving $10, 10 euros, whatever it is to get in, that could be a meal. If you want to visit a place and it doesn't have free visiting hours, if you're a student, you can use your student ID. So many places and destinations in Europe give you a discount just for flashing your student ID card. I still use mine and I graduated years ago because it doesn't have a date on it. Yet another option to save on attractions is to get tourist cards. These aren't always the best deal, but if you're doing multiple attractions, they could save you some money. Many places around the world haggle, so get used to this. You need to bargain to get the best dollar for whatever you're getting. Don't try and bargain people down so low that they're not making any money off of it. You're wealthier most likely than the country that you're traveling in if you're in places that do bargain. Don't forget, if you're in a destination that has street food, to eat it. Stop worrying about getting sick. Places like Southeast Asia, it's basically a rite of passage. It's gonna happen. It doesn't matter if you're in a restaurant or eating street food. At least on the street you can see where your food is being made. And it's a hell of a lot cheaper than any sit-down restaurants. A lot of places have free classes. This could be at your accommodation, at museums. So many places offer free classes. So if you're interested in doing something or just need some time to kill, do a little bit of research and see if you can actually learn something for free. Not necessarily a way that you can save money while traveling, but to keep you on track with your expenses is to use a budgeting app. Write down everything that you are spending so that you know if you're going crazy or if you can let loose a little bit more. I personally use Trail wallets. You have to buy it. It's like $6 US or something. It's worth the investment, and now I know where all my money's going. Don't forget to talk to other travelers and to get tips from them. Other travelers, if they are somewhere before you are, they know more than you do. They could have gone to a bar with free drinks last night or have done something else that was free, or there's so many things that they could have done. Get suggestions from them, know where to go. Other travelers are the best people to get information from. Forget about using your SIM card from home. Unless you've got some crazy good data roaming package, leave it at home. Get a local SIM cards. They're usually a lot cheaper than at home, and you can still use Google Maps, which you can also use offline. But if you really want the data, then it's super cheap to get if you get a local card. Think you want to be a fashionista while traveling? Well, maybe think again. That could actually cost you more money. Depending on how many flights you're taking, paying for all that extra baggage could add up. Some buses, like when I was traveling in Croatia, actually charge you for your baggage as well. The less you have, the less it weighs, the less you have to pay. Don't forget about travel hacking, one of the most popular travel tips. Get you a credit card that's gonna work for you so you can get free flights and accommodation. Who doesn't like free things? If you get really low on cash while you're abroad or plan to be traveling for a really long period of time, there are ways to make money on the road, or just volunteer for accommodation and food. That way you're not actually spending money, but you're still spending time abroad. Woofing is a really popular option where people work on farms in exchange for accommodation and food. You could hang out with some goats or even pick grapes and make some wine. There are so many options. There are also a ton of options for you working while abroad. You could wait tables, you could be an au pair, you could work in a hostel, you can work on a yacht, you can do tours. I could go on and on. There are a lot of options. And lastly, teaching English abroad is another very popular option and is the way that I personally got started traveling. You can save money really fast while teaching English abroad in multiple countries such as Thailand, South Korea. If you want something where you can settle down for a little bit, save some serious money, and then continue traveling, I highly recommend teaching abroad. I have quite a few resources for getting started with teaching English, especially for in Thailand, which is where I taught. I'm gonna link them all below. Thanks so much guys for watching until the end of this video. I hope you got all those tips written down. There's a whole 30 of them, and they will definitely help you save money while traveling and to travel for longer. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share. Let me know what else you want to see, what you guys are interested in. I'll be back tomorrow with another video on traveling cheaply.